So I was standing in the grocery store a few weeks ago, right? Staring at the pasta sauce. Not buying it. I wasn't comparing ingredients or anything. Wasn't reading labels, just staring at it. There were 47 different options. Traditional, garden style, 4 cheese, 3 cheese, roasted garlic, chunky, extra chunky, and like somehow artisanal was in there or something, right? And after about like 3 minutes, I just had this realization. I wasn't even trying to choose pasta sauce. I was just exhausted from making decisions. And the weird thing is, like, I think a lot of us are. And it's not because life is hard. Life's always been hard. It's more because modern humans seem to be like making approximately 7 million decisions before lunch on a daily basis now. What should I wear? What should I eat? What should I post? Should I answer that text? Should I call? Should I wait? Should I care? Should I pretend I don't care? It's exhausting. And after years of that, strange things happen, right? We become experts at managing life while simultaneously losing touch with ourselves. That is a weird trade-off. Imagine becoming the CEO of a company and forgetting where the building is. But people do this every day. We learn how to function, how to perform, how to succeed, how to survive. And somewhere in that process, we stop checking in with ourselves. And it's not because we're bad people, it's because we're busy. Busy is one of the most socially acceptable ways to disappear. Nobody questions busy. Busy gets rewarded, it gets applauded, it gets promoted. Meanwhile, busy can also become like really effective hiding place for you. You don't have to ask hard questions when you're constantly occupied. You don't have to feel uncomfortable things when your schedule is packed. You don't have to figure out what you actually want if you're spending all your time managing what everybody else wants. Which is where I think things really start getting dangerous, because eventually you wake up one day and realize something. You're really good at being who everybody else needs you to be. And you're not entirely sure who you are anymore. And before anybody gets like really dramatic about this doesn't usually all happen like at once, right? Nobody wakes up and says, "Good morning, I've completely lost myself." It doesn't work that way. It's much sneakier than that. You stop doing things you enjoy. You stop asking what you need, You stop paying attention to what energizes you, and you stop noticing what drains you. And then eventually you become a professional caretaker of everybody else's reality, while your own just sits there unattended. Like it's some rental property or something. And maybe the funny, not so funny thing is, most people can tell you exactly what's wrong with their boss, or their spouse, or their church, or their government, or their neighbors, right? Ask them what's wrong with them, and it's like the Wi-Fi disconnects. Because self-awareness is strange. It's easy to observe other people. It is much harder to observe yourself, especially honestly. And that's where I think many of us become strangers to ourselves. It's not because we intended to. It's not because we got distracted. Life happened. Responsibilities happened. Heartbreak happened. Children happened. Careers happened. Divorce happened. Military service happened. Loss happened. And every one of those things asks something from us. The danger comes when they ask for everything. Because eventually, you have to come home. Not to a house, but to yourself. And that's harder than people think. Because once you've spent years becoming everyone else's needs, you have to rediscover who you are underneath all of it. And honestly, that can be terrifying. Because now there isn't a checklist. There isn't a rule book. There isn't a performance review. No, it's just you. and whatever's left standing when the noise dies down. And the more life ticks by for me, like, the less impressed I am by success. And the more interested I become in alignment. Because I've met successful people who were just straight up miserable. I've met wealthy people who were just exhausted. I've admired people who were just completely disconnected from themselves. And then I've met ordinary people who just somehow radiated peace. That's fascinating to me when I think about it like that, because peace doesn't seem to come from accomplishment, honestly. Not always. It seems to come from, like, congruence, you know? From being the same person on the inside that you are on the outside. If my kids were to hear this, or maybe somebody just sitting in the grocery store staring at pasta sauce, hear me out here. Don't become so busy managing your life that you forget to actually live it. Don't become so skilled at meeting expectations that you lose touch with your own experience. Check in with yourself regularly. Ask questions, pay attention. Notice what gives you life. Notice what drains it. Because becoming a stranger to yourself doesn't happen overnight. But neither does coming home. And maybe that's what this journey is. Not becoming somebody new. Maybe it's remembering who was there before the world started telling you who to be. And if this episode reminded you of anything, I hope it reminded you that being busy and being alive are not the same thing. One fills your calendar and the other fills your soul. So having said that, I think I'm going to go stand in front of the refrigerator, not because I'm hungry, but because apparently that's where middle-aged men go to process emotions. I'm not going to eat anything, I promise. I love you all, and I'll catch you guys later.